Hi everyone, my name is Myiesha and I'm a Sephora Beauty Director, and I'm joined here today with Gina. And we are going to talk about undertones in foundation as well as undertones in red lipsticks. Now, your skin tone is how light or deep your skin is. It's all in a spectrum, but your undertone is that dominant tone that's actually underneath the skin. We're going to talk about some easy ways I find to determine your undertone. So we're going to go over some foundation undertones and what lipsticks go with those undertones. So we're gonna get to this one right here, which is my personal favorite. I'm gonna show you something with a red undertone and something with more of that orange yellow undertone as well. So I feel like undertone is kind of something nobody likes to hear because they get really confused as soon as they hear about undertone. There's a few ways I've sort of learned to think about it over the years. So I try to stay away from saying cool, neutral, and warm. The reason being is that in certain parts of the world, cool and warm are actually reversed. So if you buy makeup and you're like, oh, I'm for sure a yellow undertone, but it says cool, it's fine. It could just be reversed. So don't get confused over that because there's a lot of popular makeup brands that are French that do that. So at Sephora, what we do, if you've ever been color IQ'd, we talk in terms of yellow and red, and then lying somewhere in the middle, being more neutral. So when you say red, just know that that kind of comes in. Pink and red are the same color. It's just a different intensity, right? Like when you're in school and you mix white and red together, you get pink. So just know that those are the same colors. When you get into your yellow side, most people are kind of slightly yellow. A lot of people aren't super yellow. So there's a spectrum, right? So the easiest way that I tell people is to find your favorite foundation. Do you have a foundation you like that's like one of your favorites?
I love IT Cosmetics foundation.
So find that foundation, go to Sephora.com, and you can do a reverse lookup to see what the color IQ number is. Like for instance, let's see. I wear this foundation, Best Skin Ever, in the color 34.5, and I'm neutral with a little bit of yellow. So if I look that up, I can see that that color IQ number I think is 1Y09. Or 1Y10, so that tells me that I'm pretty neutral. So the easiest way I think is to just look at the foundation you like, look it up on Sephora.com, and it'll tell you what undertone is. That's the way to cheat if you want to. Some people I found don't necessarily want to be their undertone. Usually if people have a little redness in their cheeks, like things like that, they want to even it out. So it's fine if you don't want to be your actual undertone. Just knowing your undertone is nice. She's pretty yellow throughout. But if she had like red or pink kind of coming through the chest, it wouldn't really matter how much I covered up here. I would still have to kind of compensate for that, if that makes sense. So, do you know you're yellow?
I know that I am yellow. I don't know how yellow.
Okay. So, as far as undertone goes, there's your overall skin tone, how light or dark you are. Undertone is just this underlying, or sometimes subtle, sometimes a little bit more apparent tone that you have in your skin. Usually people can see that, more yellow. She's definitely not pink, even though she may have a little flush of pink here and there. It's not the dominant tone in the skin, if that makes sense. So I always like to think of, if you go to the nail shop, and you want a neutral color, would you let the lady pick it out for you?
Absolutely not.
Because it's gonna be like too yellow or too something or too green or whatever. You pick it out yourself. I think people are really particular when they look at nail colors or painting their bathroom, but it's kind of hard with their skin tone. So ask a friend if you have more yellow, if you have more pink in your skin. If you can't decide, if you kind of say, oh, I'm kind of peachy, guess what? Yellow and red mixed together, or orange. Peachy, you're in the middle. I'm kind of in the middle with a little bit of yellow. So just play with it. Look up .com, go to Sephora, tell them to match you with a foundation, and then tell them to show you the opposite undertone. Usually you know an undertone that you are not. So I chose 3 colors that work for her but are different undertones. We're gonna start with the neutral one first, and they're all Best Skin Ever. So that is a neutral undertone. You can kind of see, if you had to describe it, you say it's kind of peach. Again, pink and yellow mixed together, or peach, or orange. Now this one has a yellow undertone. And to be a yellow undertone, it doesn't have to be intensely yellow. It doesn't have to look like primary color yellow. It just has tones of yellow. And this would be a red or pink undertone. Same depth, but the tones are overwhelmingly pink. Usually the one that you see the most is not your undertone because it's gonna have the most contrast, and I think the one that we can agree that we see the most is this guy right here, and this is a pink undertone or a red undertone. And then we have this one in the middle, which is more neutral, and it could totally work. But this one that disappears, the yellow undertone. You typically want to look for an undertone that disappears. When you're looking at foundation in store, like that IT Cosmetics foundation you like, you can swatch that on and then maybe tell the person helping you at Sephora, but can you show me in the opposite undertone, something like pinker or more neutral, just to see if you like it. Most likely, you won't like it as much as the one you're wearing because you're already accustomed to your overall skin tone. Some brands make it easy, like Fenty, that's marked on the bottle which undertone is which, but the one that disappears is your undertone or your preferred undertone. Sometimes you don't always go with the undertone you actually are, but the one that sticks out like a sore thumb is usually the opposite of your skin tone or your undertone. And the further you jump over, the harder it may be. Sometimes people like to go from a yellow undertone to a pink, but that's gonna be a pretty hard thing to pull off. But you could totally go neutral if you wanted to. It wouldn't really be that much of a stretch. Okay, so let's check these out. So,
oh wow.
Okay, so you can see which one
definitely
is not it.
There's two I like see, one I see definitely, and then there's just the one I don't see at all.
Since there's sort of a spectrum, there's three, like that one definitely you can't see it at all. Even looking on the camera monitor, it disappears. Yeah. So the one that we're gonna go with is from Sephora Collection. It's the Best Skin Ever foundation in 25.5. Why? Because guess what, yellow. So there you go. We're gonna put it all over and we'll be right back. So now that we've established undertone, there are a few rules that you can follow for choosing a red lipstick. I'm not someone who likes rules. I just think that when you learn the rules, it kind of helps you break them, if that makes sense. Kind of learn the basics. So there are different undertones in red lipsticks. You have your very classic reds where you almost can't determine the undertone. It just looks like bright, pretty red. Another favorite red of mine for a more yellow undertone is going to be an orange red. And then next we have something a little bit deeper. Sometimes deeper skin tones or fair skin tones alike really love a deep blue red. So we're gonna blot the lips a little bit because we don't want any excess emollients, especially with red because it can bleed a little bit easier than other colors. I'm just gonna dust with a little translucent powder. So this is the Pat McGrath Labs Matte Trans Lipstick in Elson 2. It's a very vibrant orange red. Orange lipstick tends to kind of look really great with more yellow undertones, but I kind of like this for everybody. I think it's really pretty. Definitely the orange picks up more on camera, but it's a really beautiful red. So next we are going to try a lipstick from Urban Decay. These are the Vice Hydrating Lipsticks, and this is in the shade Hex. This is classified as a deep wine color, and typically wines will have kind of a blue undertone because they kind of run into a burgundy territory. These type of shades look really good on fair skin with cool undertones or red undertones, and deep skin with red undertones. But again, anybody can wear any color. It's just what you like. It has more of a deep wine color, and it definitely has more blue tones. Again, if you have red or pink in your skin and that's a dominant tone, it can look really nice. She is more yellow, so it's a contrast for her, which can be really pretty too. It's all up to preference. So now we are going to go for a classic red. This is from Sephora Collection. This is the Cream Lip Stain in Always Red. This is probably our best seller, I would say, as far as reds go. It just looks good on everyone, I find, because it doesn't really lean too far over into any particular undertone. It doesn't really have any discernible blue. It doesn't have any discernible pink. It just is that classic like red that looks good on everyone, I find. So there you go. Hopefully I kind of helped you decide your undertone. If you don't know it or you just can't decipher it, it's totally fine. Just go to Sephora, have them help you with the foundation. Or usually, you know, our eyes are so trained, we can look at you and we can tell as soon as Gina walked in today, I was like, she's yellow. There you go. Maybe drop your undertone, what your favorite lipstick is that you like to wear. Does it match your undertone? I think that's kind of interesting what people like. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of our content. Get to see Gina's cute face again. And we'll see you next time. Bye.